From a challenging and difficult beginning as an orphan child in Korea to her success as a notable chef and entrepreneur, Marja Vongerichten's passion for uniting the world through the gift of food, specifically Korean food, has endured it all. I was given the chance to spend some quality time with Marja to talk about this incredible story of heartbreak, love, family, and success. In the next part of our interview, we learn about Marja's new life in New York, meeting and marrying the renowned chef Jean-Georges Vongerichten, becoming a mother, and reconnecting with her birthplace through her notable series, The Kimchi Chronicles. Soulivity Magazine presents From Korea with Love, Marja Vongerichten.
And it sounds like, again, that's one of those defining moments
Mhm.
around uh you deciding that this is what you needed to do to know more about who you are, as well as connect with your history and your ancestry.
Mhm.
Wow,
Exactly.
amazing. So at that point,
Which,
you,
as you
yeah,
know, being African American, um, we have a limited uh, information bank. I don't know of
yeah,
who our actual ancestors are. I mean, it tends to stop at a certain point.
correct.
Um,
It is
but
it is very rare that people who have like Alex Haley, where he was able to trace back to the tribe in Africa. That's very
yeah,
rare, very
oh,
rare.
super rare. So then to meet this family where we can trace our generations back, I can trace my family ancestry back about 1,300 years,
Wow.
and it's only because my great 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 grandfather was a he was a chief of a tribe, and this is at the time they had three kingdoms. Well, they had a bunch of tribes, but they were forming three kingdoms, and my ancestor was a general who actually helped his family come to power and take the throne.
Hmm.
And after that, once you get in the palace, he became pretty much like prime minister. Um, and after that, descendants of that line are given jobs within the palace. So everything was well documented. We could actually go back probably 60 something generations, but it was lost um, in terms of the documentation. But there's actually a statue of my ancestor on a little island in Korea. He's known in the history books there. He he died there fighting off the Mongolians. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and it's so funny because we have the same nose. He looks like my family.
There's always
Yeah,
a trait that follows you. There's
I'm
always a
telling
trait.
you.
Have you seen the statue? Have you seen it?
I've seen it on video. I've seen
Wow.
it on video. There's a YouTube video. I'll send you the link
Okay.
later.
Okay. That's
Um,
cool.
yeah. So
So you're in New York. You're
in New York,
you're bonding with your birth mother.
bonding with my birth mother. She had a nail salon at that time,
Uh-huh.
so typical. So I helped her a bit there, and then I did odd jobs. I worked at the vitamin shop, but I moved to Brooklyn, and I said to myself, I want to live in Manhattan. I want to live in Manhattan. I'm 19. I don't have a college degree. What am I going to do? So I said, I'm going to work in the vitamin shop, but I'm going to work in the best vitamin shop. So
Wow.
I went to the one on Lexington and 59th across from Bloomingdale's. And I said, I always had a philosophy, if you want to be someplace, you have to envision yourself there. You've got to put yourself in the place where you want to be.
Mm, mm.
So after that, I made friends. I actually, you want a job? I'm like, I don't, Wall Street, what am I going to do on Wall Street? I'm terrible at math. He's like, you don't need any of that. He's like, just come. So I started out at this firm, which became a chop shop later, but a firm called L.T. Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And I became a cold caller. So, it's basically like telemarketing, but you get a stack of index cards. You try and reach the president of each of these small businesses.
Oh, yeah.
You can send out a prospectus.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, soon tired of that job, and I, worked my butt off to get through my daily allotment of cards, and I started hanging out in human resources, and I said to the sister of the owner of the company, I said, I'm done with my stuff. Do you need any help? So soon after, I became her assistant, and then I became a sales assistant, and I had 12 brokers. So I would just kind of facilitate all their transactions, and then I would get a 1% commission from their
Mm-hmm.
monthly. So I thought I was doing it. Yeah, and then I started dating this guy who was a chef,
Okay.
and he worked at a restaurant called John George. And I said, well, I've always been acting and modeling since I was 9, and I said, I'm in New York. I want to be able to audition, so I need a restaurant job. But again, I don't want to work at some crappy restaurant. I want to be where Steven Spielberg could come in and discover me.
Right.
So anyway, that relationship with that boyfriend didn't last very long. But I started working there, made some friends, and then all of a sudden, the chef keeps fluttering around me every day that I'm there. And he had a girlfriend at the time, and I was dating somebody as well. So, I really didn't pay attention to him. And, my mom was always like, don't ever be someone's, side piece or option.
Right.
And I'm like, I am not going out with you. You have a girlfriend. But eventually that relationship wore down, and then he asked me out, and I said, yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's like almost 20 years older than me. What the heck,
Right.
But when we went out that first time, he's such a sweet person.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of bonded, and our birthdays are a day apart, and there's so many similarities, and the rest is history with that story.
When was the first time you cooked for him?
When probably like 2 years later, a year and a half later, yeah.
So
yes,
here
I met him at 22.
so you're 22, he's older, he's an accomplished master chef,
Yeah, he
and
had 4 restaurants at that time.
right, and you're cooking for him. Were you nervous?
No, my philosophy was, if you don't like it, I don't want to hear it. I mean, I'm not trying to be you. This is what I do. And I always told him,
Love
don't
it.
you dare complain.
Love it.
He never did.
So do you remember what you cooked for him the first time?
I think it was mac and cheese, and like yeah, I think I cooked him like it was during Thanksgiving, so I cooked some sides.
Oh. And
Yeah.
everybody.
And I bought the Ocean Spray jellied cranberry, which I love. The one that comes out in the big cylindrical
Oh yeah.
jelly shape. And I mean, he's always hated that, but it's been there every year. I love it. So.
Hey, that's some good jelly. I don't know what anybody's talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
So you guys became boyfriend and girlfriend. You eventually got married, and then
Yep.
this beautiful little girl shows up.
Yep, my daughter, our
And
daughter, Chloe.
yeah, what was that experience like for you?
Terrifying. I mean, it was, after I had her, you have this little being there that's looking at you, and I've always been very maternal. I helped raise my sister, my baby sister, who's 10
Mhm.
years younger than me.
Mhm.
But this is totally different. I mean, everything to do with the well-being of this child is on my shoulders. And I went through a little bit of postpartum depression just because I wanted to do everything myself. I had my birth mother waiting in the wings, but I was so fiercely protective of my time with her, and I was afraid that she was going to try and um, take over because of the time she missed. And
Mhm.
it was something that I really wanted to do. And I think it was exhaustion and, JG's hours where, he wasn't coming home till midnight, and I'm alone with the baby all the time. And I just remember calling him one day, and I was just crying. I didn't even know why. I think I was trying to take a shower, and, I had the baby in the little car seat, and I could barely close my eyes to wash my hair, and she's in the bathroom. I'm just checking to make sure she's breathing. It was just so overwhelming.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but after 3 months, I kind of handed my daughter to my birth mother, and my biological aunt had come in from Korea.
Mhm.
So after that, they both were there, not only to help me with Chloe, but to kind of give me a bit of um, companionship as well. Um, yeah, so it was great. Yeah, it was great.
That's nice.
And I don't remember my life or how it felt before Chloe was born, just like automatic now. And now she's 16.
Wow. And now she's coming into young womanhood now, right?
She
So
is.
so what does that feel like for you now that she's blossoming?
Oh, it's bittersweet. I mean, I love seeing her grow up. I can't wait to see the woman she's going to become. Um, she's so sweet and such an individual
Mhm.
and so loving, and she's just such a great citizen of the world. The
Wow.
other part is the days are ticking by. Every inch she grows, every new thing that she does, it's my baby slipping away.
Right.
Even though she'll always be my baby, I'm like, gosh, 3 more years and she's going to be in college. I just don't know how to not be a mom.
Right.
So even when she goes away and she's not here, I don't know what to do with myself sometimes. And that takes a couple of days, and then I'm like, what the hell what am I doing? I'm like free.
So does so does it
Why?
so does it feel like you're growing too as she's growing, like you're growing into another relation?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And she's somebody I can talk to and be very honest and open with.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I don't mind talking about the fact that I'm in the process of a divorce. I think it's um, it's the first time I've really talked about it publicly.
Mhm.
Um, it's a long process. But the great thing is that we are maintaining this family, and we get along very well. Um, and the main focus is that we love each other, and we've created this family. A lot of his family is here. My family's there. We share a house still, and we will continue to on the weekends. And we actually, I think, in a way, we've become better friends
Right.
um, because of it.
Right.
You know.
I guess the goal is always, though it may be difficult, just because this is the dissolution of a marriage does not mean it's the
Hmm.
dissolution of the family, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, no,
Absolutely.
you know, the father, the mother, and the children or child will always be there. Till
Absolutely.
till death do you part,
Hmm.
and then even beyond that. So that's wonderful.
Absolutely. I
That's
mean, Chloe
wonderful.
has two older siblings. Her brother has two young boys who I'm Nana to,
Hmm.
and we're just very close. We have Sunday dinner together with the whole family. Um, I was able to. Chloe's been handling it great. When I had to have the conversation with her about us separating, I said to her that your father and I are going to get a divorce. I said, we love each other.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but we, it, we've just gotten to the point where it doesn't, what the hell did I say? It's so perfect because it was just one line. Um, I said, we've grown apart in a way that doesn't work in a marriage anymore. I said, but we are committed to being a family. We will always be there. And what's going to change for you? Nothing much. I said, if anything, I said, we're going to get our own place. I said, but you'll see your dad just as much, if not more, which has been true.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to her every now and then just to check in and see how she's dealing with everything. And she said to me a few months ago, to be honest, if you and Dad didn't get along so well, she said it would be really hard for me. She said, but I feel like it's exactly the same. It's just we have our own place. Because her father's always, he's a workaholic. So
Right.
she really just saw him weekends anyway.
And like you said before, her, though she may not be able to articulate it right now, this actually might even be better for her.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We're going to backtrack a little bit
Okay.
because we talked about um, your ancestry and connecting with your roots.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me what it felt like to go through the process of creating Kimchi Chronicles.
Sorry, I just want to put in this little tidbit.
Absolutely.
That first time I went to go, when I met my mother and she'd cooked all that stuff, she had drawn a bath for me. And then she said, here, you can go take a bath here. I said, okay, great. And she sat on the floor, and I'm like, hello? I'm not going to shower with you in here. But she insisted on washing my hair.
Wow.
Which was weird. I mean, my mother hasn't seen me without clothes since I was probably 10. I'm talking about any mom,
She's like, well, I saw you naked already.
I know. So anyway, I found out later that she insisted on being in there because she wanted to check my birthmark just to make sure it was me.
Oh.
I have a big one on my leg and one on my ankle. And she just wanted to make sure.
She put her eye on the identification.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know you're my daughter, but I just want to. I'm trusting, but I need to verify.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, fast forward to 2010. I was having lunch with someone at JG's restaurant in the main dining room, and JG brought me over. He said, I want you to meet an old friend of mine. His name is Charlie Pinsky. He's a director. He did Spain on the Road Again with Mario Batali and Gwyneth Paltrow. And he was there with a Korean producer, Eric Ree, and JG had told me that he said the reason he brought me over was because he was introduced to Eric Ree, and he said, yeah, we're discussing doing a show on Korea. And he said, oh yeah, he said, my wife's half Korean. And so he brought me over. They asked me the basic questions. You speak Korean? When did you ever go there? Blah blah blah. I gave them a quick synopsis of my story. And the next day they called me and asked me if I wanted to host the show. They originally were going to go with a Korean chef and go back to Korea, but they loved the personal story behind it. And
wow.
Once we talked, the fact that it's been a journey for me and still continues to be a journey for me every time I visit Korea in terms of really searching out my roots. Yeah, they really like that element. So it became kind of a docu-series, and I'm an executive co-producer
Hmm.
on the series. And then it became now putting everything together, all the stories, where we were going to go. One of the things that was most poignant about that whole journey, even doing the show, was that we had a lot of experts throughout Korea to kind of guide us through these different places that we went.
Okay.
So, all the years I had connected with my mother, I would go to Koreatown. I'd speak in Korean. They would respond to me in English, and I'm like, what the hell? So I always felt kind of, I'm trying to get in touch with my people.
Right.
And
And you speak in English.
hello, right? And I'm one of y'all. So I kind of felt like an invisible Korean for a long time.
Mm.
And what I had kind of summed up in my mind was that all these years I had been looking for validation from other people to accept the fact that I was Korean.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
But when I went to Korea and I went to the temples and they explained all the details, because mind you, I had gone to Korea numerous times since I met my birth mother,
Mm-hmm.
but because of a language barrier, all the details were lost. So yeah, I'd just follow my mom when we would go to a temple or give an offering, but I didn't understand what these holidays meant and why and how. And when we did the show, I gained so much information, and then that hole that I had was sealed up finally, and I realized that it was my lack of knowledge about myself and my culture that
Wow.
prevented me from identifying to it
Wow.
in a full way. And after I did the show, a lot of people would ask me in interviews, what side do you relate to more?
Mm.
Or what do you feel more?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I feel equally both. I said, I feel 100% Korean and I feel 100% African American. And
Right. There's
I said,
no
just
either
because
or.
no, not at all. Why should I have to choose?
Right.
I don't have to choose. It is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fully my mother and I'm fully my dad. And I was fortunate enough to be raised in an African American family where all those values and history and culture were instilled in me very deeply. But if you look at it now, I've had an equal amount of time in both worlds
Mm-hmm.
and knowing both sides of myself. So I'm proud of the fact that I don't struggle with that anymore, because I used to.
So you did 13 episodes, if I'm correct,
Uh-huh.
of Kimchi Chronicles. And how now during those 13 episodes, was that the time that you really were like diving deep into your ancestry, or had you made trips before back to Korea before then to
Oh
kind of
yeah, no, I had made lots of trips before.
okay.
Um,
But this probably felt different.
but yeah, it felt different. I mean, I was meeting the president of Korea on numerous occasions. Han Ki-moon, the UN
Secretary General.
yeah, met him numerous times. I was finally having this acknowledgement, but it's funny. We were not. It's funny because the show that my producer or director had done before with Gwyneth Paltrow had a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Korean government, it wasn't enough that I was half Korean. They wouldn't give us the funding unless I had a white celebrity on Korean soil.
Gosh.
Hence, yeah. Hence why Heather Graham was there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I've had a chance to meet a couple times. Oh my God, why are these names leaving me? He's a Pittsburgh MVP, Pittsburgh Steelers MVP, half Korean, half black.
Oh, no, I know.
What's his name?
We'll look it up later.
Anyway, he and I were discussing how, um, Koreans are very homogenous. There's still a bit of discrimination that needs to be worked on. I know that my story, because I think it's a source of shame for South Korea, the fact that they're one of the largest exporters, but they have the largest number of adoptees going out of the country, being adopted out of the country. Because they don't, they believe in family lineage. So blood relations are very important. Not that some people don't care about those kind of things, but the vast majority, I think, you really need to be of a certain bloodline. But also the fact that, I'm married to this world famous chef, and the fact that we have celebrity friends did a lot to help my, what would you call it, my visibility in Korea, which is kind of bittersweet as well. It's kind of, a pat slap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You would like to be, it sounds like, look, if I'm here because of who I am, not because of who I know or who,
I'm associated with.
right. I mean, here you are going on this journey of exploration and self-awareness to lead you to a point of self-validation. And then the people around you are saying, well, we'll validate you after they give you the sign off.
Right, exactly. Oh, you're so Korean now. Hugh Jackman, that's great.
Oh, yes, you're Korean. Yes. Wow.
Yes, you are.
Though, Hugh's got to toughen up around that spice. I saw the episode.
Yeah,
I
know.
He's got to toughen up a little bit,
And again, the vast majority of Koreans, like the regular down-to-earth people, got it in terms of who I was and why my story makes sense.
Right.
But it's kind of that upper echelon in Korea that's so brand crazy, celebrity crazy, that kind of focus more on that. It's not the general population of Korea. I think it's the people who make decisions.
Gotcha.
The people who are,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In a position of power, because power is money, right?
Yeah, traditionally speaking. But I think, too,
Right.
purpose and passion are power as well. You wouldn't be where you are without it. And it sounds like it started a long time ago.
Exactly.
We hope that you've enjoyed part 2 of our interview with Marja Vongerichten from Korea with Love. In the next part of our interview, we learn about Marja's success reborn as her new business ventures and what passion and purpose mean to her. So stay tuned.